and welcome back to another episode of Cocktails with Ciara. My name is Ciara and I'm a whiskey-loving Irish gal who's on a cocktail voyage of discovery. If you are new here, I have zero professional bar experience other than a passion for making mixed drinks at home and showing you how I do it. So hit that subscribe button, stick around, and we both just might learn something, because if I can do it, you can do it. I am back from my little Christmas break in Galway with my family. It was an absolute tonic to see them after so long. It was really so lovely, and the break was very much enjoyed, but I'm very happy to be back making videos. So in today's video, I'm going to be making something very special. Not only is this a drink that I have never made myself before, but it is also a drink that I've never even tried before. So today, my friends, I'm going to be making eggnog. So when I think about eggnog, I have to admit I've always been a little bit put off by the idea of it. I'm also absolutely delighted to say that I have been kindly given a traditional eggnog recipe from one of my lovely Patreon supporters, the lovely Shelley. She has shared with me her grandmother Eloise's eggnog recipe that they've been using in their family for generations. I feel a little bit of pressure, I'm not gonna lie. I really want to get this right. We're gonna do the best that we can. It's all a journey at the end of the day. But before we get into the history of eggnog and I show you how I make it at home, I would like to take a second to tell you about my Patreon. Not only is it a great way of supporting my channel, but you can also avail of exclusive content. You can join in on my monthly lives with my Patreon community. They are so much fun, and I have one coming up very soon. And you can also see the exclusive content that is just too tipsy for YouTube. So without rambling on too much, let's get into the history of eggnog. Now, you probably know by now, I absolutely love learning about the history of the cocktails that I'm making. And I was really surprised, actually quite blown away, to learn how old eggnog is. Like a lot of drinks that are as old as eggnog is, its exact roots are somewhat contested, but it is believed that it originated in the early medieval times in Britain. We're talking like the 13th century. That is incredibly old. At this time, things like milk, eggs, and sherry were known as foods of the wealthy. They were not widely available at the time, so it's no surprise that posset was a drink that was often used in toasts that were made to prosperity and good health. It was not until the 1700s that eggnog became associated with the festive season. It was actually among the American colonies. They were full of farming, and they had an abundance of things like eggs and cream, and cheaper qualities of rum became the signature ingredient, and then eggnog just kind of started to become a bit of a Christmas tradition. All right, so now that I've given you a little bit of history on eggnog, it is time to get into the ingredients that you are going to need to make today's version. So for this recipe, I'm going with some whipping dairy cream. I think this has to be what I'm looking for. I also have a whisk because I don't have an electric whipper mixer thing. So we're just gonna do it by hand and see how we get on. So we're also going to be using some sugar. It doesn't specify in the recipe whether it's brown sugar or caster sugar, so I'm pretty sure that regular sugar is going to be fine. Of course, we are also going to be using some eggs in this cocktail. I have some fresh ones here I just picked up yesterday. We're also going to be using some pure vanilla extract. I have some here, thankfully. I actually completely forgot this was in the cupboard. Pretty sure it's still in date. And the most exciting ingredient is some whiskey. So we're going to be using Crown Royal Canadian whiskey. This is a blended whiskey. It's actually really nice. I know some eggnog recipes call for rum, some call for a mix of bourbon or whiskey and rum. It is completely up to your personal preference. You can also make it non-alcoholic if you wish. Okay, so I have Mama Renee's recipe here on my phone, and like I said, this serves about 8 people. So I'm gonna go ahead and divide each serving by 8 to get the measurement for one person. I'm really hoping that I don't get the measurements for this wrong, because the measurements are probably key to something like this. Pray for me and let's see how we get on. Okay, so if my calculations are correct, the measurement for one person should be 30 mils of fresh cream. Seems kind of like a lot. Pop that in. So this needs to be whipped using our whisk, and then I'll be adding in the sugar and then setting that aside, and then we're going to be working on the rest of the cocktail. I can already tell this is, oh, it's actually whipping really well. Okay, so let's do 45 mils of sugar. This seems like an insane amount of sugar, and I'm supposed to be whipping this in This looks really good actually. Okay, so now we're moving on to the eggs and we are going to separate them. So I'm going to separate these into 2 tumblers because I don't have enough bowls for this. I'm honestly the worst baker / cook in the world. If it's a cocktail, perfect. If it's a cake, good luck. Oh. So I think I just tip it. Ho ho, worked really, really well. Uh-oh. Sorry, I'm so dramatic. Excellent, so we have 1 glass of egg whites and 1 glass of egg yolk. I've already realized that I've made a mistake. So I think the sugar allocation per drink was meant to be split between the mixing of the egg whites and the mixing of the cream. If that's the only mistake we make during this process, then we've done well. So let's go ahead and beat this. I'm just gonna use the same whisk. So I've actually realized I made another mistake. I was supposed to beat the egg yolks and not the egg whites at this stage. So let's just go ahead and hope it doesn't affect it. Okay, so I'm once again going to add a little bit more sugar because I'm supposed to add that to the egg yolks and also vanilla. And then I'm supposed to beat it until it turns a lemon yellow color. So I'm just gonna do a teensy bit. That's probably loads. I have to say there's a lot of work involved in this cocktail. There's a lot of beating. I feel like I'm making a cake. Okay, so here's where it gets a little bit complicated and I feel like an electric mixer would come in handy. I'm supposed to continue beating these and then add in our egg yolks and then continue beating and then add in the cream and then continue beating and then fold in the rest of the cream. I don't know how to fold something in, but we're gonna make it work. So, oh my God, I feel like I've already ruined this recipe. Now I'm gonna add in some of the whipped cream and see how we get on. Whew, okay. I've done so much whipping. I'm going to go ahead and add our whiskey. I think I'm gonna do about 60 mils because I feel like this drink is gonna need it. It's not gonna be the best eggnog I can imagine. All right, so I think we're good to go. I'm just a little scared, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna whip some more cream and then add some fresh cream on top. So I'm also going to add a little bit of ground nutmeg. I don't think I've ever had as physically strenuous a cocktail on this series before. I do worry that I've completely butchered the recipe, but without further ado, let's head over to the cocktail drinking chair and we'll try it and we'll see how it tastes. Okay, so I'm back on my Dr. Evil chair or cocktail drinking chair and I have my eggnog here. I am not usually a fan of like creamy, heavy, super sweet alcoholic drinks anyway. And also just keep in mind, I don't think I followed this recipe properly. So I'm worried that I'm not gonna like it, but please don't take that Mama Renee's recipe was lacking in any way. I'm sure it is so stunning when made correctly. I haven't even tasted it yet. So let's see what eggnog tastes like. Oh, that's not what I thought it would taste like at all. There's the whiskey. Well, that is actually really enjoyable. The amount of whiskey is stunning. I wouldn't mind trying it with rum as well, just to see if I could make like a really boozy version of it. It's not as eggy as I thought. It tastes more like a milkshake. However, I do think this would taste even better if it was really, really cold. I also think I totally fluffed the recipe and the method. I think that actually making it as per Mama Renee's official recipe, I think I would be loving it. So if I'm enjoying this, I probably would love like a properly made eggnog. Interesting, very interesting. Do let me know in the comments if any of you have a specific eggnog recipe. Maybe it's one that you love or one that your family uses. I would love to know, so please let me know in the comments. If you are watching this and you have not subscribed already, please do hit that subscribe button. I upload new videos every single week and I would absolutely love to have you back for more. If you would like to see some more cocktails that you can make at home, I will leave a playlist up here. There are so many other ones that you can check out. And with that, I will leave you to it and I will be chatting to you again. Bye!